So Trump's unprecedented indictment has led to some unprecedented reactions from Republicans who have yet to actually see the specific charges. And now Alvin Bragg's office is hitting back at what they call, quote, unlawful political interference from those Republicans. Bragg's counsel just sent a letter to Trump-allied members of Congress urging them to withdraw their demand for information on Bragg's case and chastising them for their refusal to denounce the violent racist attacks on Bragg. The DA's counsel also blasted Republicans for collaborating with the ex-president. NBC News has learned that Trump has been reaching out to his allies on the Hill and consulting about the next steps in their public defense of him. Trump has been speaking with Senator Lindsey Graham and Congressman Matt Gaetz in particular. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu of California. He served as a manager for Trump's second impeachment trial. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Let me start out with something that you tweeted, or a statement that you released after this indictment came out. You write this is a somber moment for America. And noting that, you know, it's when you look at the reaction that we've seen from Republicans and reflecting on the moment that we're in, I want you just to talk about where we are as a country at this moment.
Thank you, Eamon, for your question. It is a solemn time for America. It sets a terrible precedent to indict a former president of the United States. And the only precedent worse than that is to not indict a former president if he committed crimes. And Donald Trump, like any other American, is entitled to the presumption of innocence in a court of criminal law. We have an entire third branch of government dedicated to resolving whether or not someone committed crimes. And a judge or jury is going to assess the evidence and then decide if Donald Trump is guilty. So we should let our judicial system do its job without political interference. That is the American way.
Specifically of the reaction from some of the Republicans, and I want to get your reaction to them and how they've been responding to this moment. In particular, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Let me play for you and our viewers what he and how he reacted to this news on Fox. Watch.
Give the president some money to fight this. This is going to destroy America. We're going to fight back at the ballot box. We're not going to give in. How does this end, Sean? Trump wins in court and he wins the election. That's how this ends.
All right, so a very emotional Lindsey Graham there. Some would say somewhat tearful, perhaps. Right. But what do you make of that response? I mean, first of all, he has not seen the charges, so I don't know why he thinks that Donald Trump is going to win when he doesn't even know what the charges against him are. But what do you make of his reaction and some of the hysteria on the Republican side?
We are seeing, unfortunately, a number of extreme and hysterical reactions from Republicans. As you said, they haven't seen the charges. They haven't seen the evidence presented to the grand jury. They don't know what other evidence the Manhattan DA may have. We should just wait to see what the charges are. We're going to see what the evidence is, and then people can at least have more information to go on. Right now, they're just making stuff up. They don't even know what this case is about.
Making stuff up in the form of Lindsey Graham. You had the more measured response from somebody like former Governor Asa Hutchinson, which seemed to strike the appropriate tone for where we are as a country. And then you had the response from somebody like a Kevin McCarthy, which seemed to suggest that he's going to use the full weight of the legislative branch of government, and certainly the committee or the committees under his control, to go after Alvin Bragg. And that sends chills, I think, for most Americans down their spine that you would weaponize the legislative branch to go after a DA doing his job.
Well, thank goodness we have the United States Constitution, which has a separation of powers, and the legislative branch cannot interfere with an ongoing criminal investigation in the judicial branch, especially of a local DA. And again, Kevin McCarthy doesn't know what the charges are, hasn't seen the evidence. What he said was actually quite outrageous. He's essentially saying that you cannot prosecute Donald Trump just because he's Donald Trump. There's really no other reason for his remarks when he hasn't even seen the evidence or the charges.
And finally, there's been some of this kind of anti-Semitic attacks on George Soros, trying to link him to Alvin Bragg. But I wanted to get your thoughts on the calls for protest. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene saying she's going to come to New York to protest. And I think a lot of people who remember what happened on January 6th, and certainly you probably know better than most, and we have her tweet up there on the screen. How afraid are you of not mass protests, but violence, the threat of violence, the rhetoric, the post that Donald Trump has been posting on social media with the insinuation of violence?
Right. Well, just at a very general level, if Republicans like Kevin McCarthy would just issue one statement that said the election was not stolen, that would tamp down the political violence that could happen. And with respect to this case, certainly every American has the right to exercise their First Amendment rights. But if you're going to assault someone or engage in property damage like the January 6th mobsters, well, then yes, you're going to get prosecuted.
All right. Congressman Ted Lieu, always a pleasure. Thank you so much, sir, for coming in. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Take care.